Hello, friends and customers of the SMR Group. Thanks for watching again this week for our weekly reflection on the stainless steel industry. Last week, I discussed and showed you what we think will be the impact on the demand side of the market from the corona pandemic. And this week, we are going upstream. We are going from the market up to the mills. And I will discuss a little bit what we think will be the supply side reaction to this very special situation. On the first slide, you see the supply base of the stainless steel industry with their revenues in 2019. The giant Jinxan, followed by Outokumpu, and then you see the rest there. 15 out of 20 mills are already in Asia. Now, through the lockdowns and shutdowns, we had some reduction of production plants globally. I showed it to you last week. We updated the numbers a little bit. Europe, everything was okay until February, and then the reductions started. The ramp up was then mid-April again, but then the order weakness kicked in and the mills reduced production, and so we see the capacity utilization at the moment at around 50%. In North America, similar situation, also around 50% of the theoretic capacity is only used at the moment. Asia different, and Asia is split into two parts. China ramped up again and is increasing as we speak. The production in May in China was up by almost 6%, and they are planning another increase in stainless crude steel production in June with another 7% increase, whilst in the rest of Asia, particularly Japan, Korea and Taiwan, we are having reduced production rates in May and also in June. This was the rest of the world. India dominated. We had a time when virtually all the plants in India were basically closed, including Jindal and Viraj. Then the ramped up again, but also has reached some sort of a plateau at the moment. Globally, we see the world stainless industry operating of not much than 66% of its theoretic capacity. That's where we are. So the lost volumes every week through the reductions, first, voluntary, first forced by the governments, and then voluntarily also, are 2.5 million tons, as you can see here. So we are missing or losing every week approximately between 120 and 160,000 tons of stainless steel production. Now, when we look at the gap between supply and demand, we see from the confirmed demand reductions, and in the Q1, Q2, we more or less know how the production was, and you see that the production has been reduced by 1.75 million tons, but it was not sufficient to meet the demand gaps. And so the question the industry has to ask itself is, what are we going to do? And I think the industry is very wise and probably faster this time than in previous crises. We are lagging still behind with the demand reduction and the supply reduction through the supply chain effects is coming a little bit later. And this is the thing, I would say the target to the stainless steel industry globally is to reduce the production by 2.5 million tons in Q3 in order to fast get a grip and get supply and demand in balance again and not to build up stock levels. One thing is for sure, in total the industry is until the end of next year losing or missing about 7 million tons of stainless steel demand compared to a world that would not have been hit by this pandemic. Now, I analyzed, or my team analyzed, how was the price situation in previous crises. And we had the crisis in 1991, the crisis in 2001, 2002, and then here as shown the financial crisis 2008, 2010. In every such macroeconomic crisis, the stainless steel price is going down. Yeah? What happened 10 years ago? That was that. A catastrophic picture. On an index basis, the European price declined by almost 50%. So did the American price, also North American price, Asia and China a little bit less. Now the key question is, will that happen again this year? And I must say, not necessarily. First of all, 10 years ago, we entered the crisis with a nickel price of $19,000 per ton, and this year we are already $6,000 per ton lower than that, at 13,000. So a reduction like 10 is not possible this time, but it is possible, and this will be the topic of next week's reflection here. So first of all, that is not the case, and this $1,400 per ton is impossible that we have some kind of a magnitude like this year. Also because the base prices in 2008, if I talk in euros, they were at least 300 to 400 US dollars higher at the beginning of the crisis than the already very low base prices that we are having at the moment, or that we had in the first quarter before the crisis came to us. Now, it is in the hands of the mills to protect their base prices going forward with a fast supply side reduction, and I hope that my message gets out there. But let's be honest, not everything was okay in the stainless industry even before this pandemic came. We had structural issues, we had overcapacities, and this pandemic just magnified the problems and brought them forward. But it is a chance now that towards the end and in the recovery, when we reduced also our production systems, we will bring the leverage back from the consumer to the mills, and we would finally get the base price increases, I think, that everybody is looking for. So that's it for this week. That's how we see the way forward and what would be the best solution in order not to let the prices get more under pressure than necessary. But as you know, there is always two components to the stainless steel price: base prices and alloy surcharge. With a supply side reduction, the mills can protect their base prices. What's in the alloy surcharge, nickel, chrome, molybdenum and scrap, that is something which is probably not in the hands of the stainless steel producers. And this is exactly what we are going to discuss in next week's reflection: the impact of Corona on nickel, chrome and stainless steel scrap. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, go to our website, and if you have comments, positive or negative whatsoever, please send it to us also under marketresearch@smr.at. Thanks for listening and watching.